Ladies and gentlemen, Geddes! Hey, good evening everybody. I'm Dan Geddes. I'm American. I've lived in Amsterdam 10, 12, 13 years now, and it's great. I love it here. My wife's American too. I'm American, but our kids are really Dutch, you know. They go to Dutch school and they have Dutch friends, and that's great, and it's meant I've learned a lot about Dutch culture, but the worst part about it is if I go to the market or something, I'm trying to practice my Dutch in the market, and my kids correct me, right? Even the 12-year-old or the 5-year-old, they're standing up and pointing at me as I'm trying to speak Dutch, and they're laughing at me, and the people at the market are laughing at me, and you just really want to give up at that point, when even the 5-year-old is better than you at Dutch. Anyway, I try to keep in touch with my friends back in America via Facebook, you know, but I really get discouraged with it sometimes, because people post 5, 10, 15, 20 times a day. And I wonder, why do people do this? I mean, for what reason? And I thought about it. I think the main reason is to build up their social capital, you know. Everyone's trying to pimp their personal brand and get you to see how fabulous their lives are. So you see people, and I think there's haves and have-nots on Facebook. You know, the haves are posting photographs of their beautiful vacations, or their beautiful bodies, or what they're about to eat for dinner. And, you know, the people on the other end, maybe they're unemployed and they're about to eat a frozen pizza for dinner, and they're like, I'm not gonna post that. So all they can do is post like a picture of a big beer or something, you know, and try to make you think that you're having the good life too, you know. That's all they got. And it makes me wonder, you know, I think the people who do post 5 and 10 and 15 times a day, what they really want is their own reality TV show, you know. And Americans especially, we grew up on television, and what we really secretly long for is to be televised all the time. And Facebook is about the closest we're going to get to that, because if we don't get our own show, all we can do is say, look at me, I'm great. Please pay attention to me, and that's about all you could do. And, you know, so people are using Facebook, and even if they don't get their own reality TV show, and the whole world isn't watching, I mean, there are people watching, you know, the government's watching, corporations are watching, your future employers are watching, your future boyfriend and girlfriend is watching. And so when people say, hey Dan, I haven't seen you on FB for a while, why is that? And I'm thinking, well, I don't think of it as FB, I think of it as FBI book. Because, you know, what am I doing here? You know, you think back to the time of the Iron Curtain, and, you know, in East Germany, and the Stasi, the secret police, they were compiling extensive dossiers on everybody. You know, who does this person know? We want pictures of them. And now everyone's doing this themselves, for free. And you just wonder, this doesn't make any sense, and when are people going to catch on to this? I mean, maybe one day Facebook's going to rename your friends to known associates. Congratulations! You have a new known associate. Has your new known associate, John Smith, ever committed any felonies? Or please complete your Facebook profile. Add your criminal record to Facebook. Failure to do so is in violation of Facebook's terms of service. I think a lot more people are more aware of all this since the revelations of the former NSA analyst Edward Snowden, you know, who said the NSA is watching everybody all the time, and whatever, at least their online presence. And when that first broke, you know, people had a lot of different reactions to it. You know, they were angry, or they were depressed, or they were just in denial about it. Like, how could this be? And I thought, you know, that's just like the 5 stages of death and dying, you know. People go through anger and depression and bargaining, you know, and stage 1 is denial. People are like, there's no way the government can track me. Everybody does. I mean, how big of a computer could they have? Or, they can't track me because I use this clever Facebook alias, you know. Like, they don't know, you know, that there's IP addresses and all that. Or they think there's no way, because then that horrible conspiracy theorist I know down the road, then he's right, and that can't be. So, you know, but then they move to the next phase, because they can't stay in denial forever, because it's in all the papers and everything. So they get to the next phase, anger. And they're thinking, man, fuck this, I'm leaving America, I'm going to do something dumb like move to Amsterdam, or Canada, or, you know, the moon. But they realize that, you know, the internet is really the NSA's network. There's not really anywhere you can go where they're not watching, so, at least on the internet. So the anger phase finally comes, you start having to deal with it, and you end up giving way to bargaining. Like, well, how can I deal with this? You know, how can I deal with this? And you think, what can I do? And you think, well, maybe on Facebook I'll be more careful. You know, I won't post that I like the Occupy movement, because then I'll get on their list. You know, or you know, maybe I'll maybe I won't watch exotic porn. You know, I'll keep it really, you know, heterosexual, you know, whatever. You know, or maybe I won't bring my mobile phone if I'm going to go cheat on my wife or rob a bank or something, you know, because they're going to be tracking you wherever you go, you know, with your mobile phone. But the bargaining phase also gives way, because eventually you get to the phase of depression, stage 4, because, you know, it's sort of unsettling to realize that you're getting boxed in and you're getting tracked wherever you go. And so you get depressed, and some people, they end up turning to alcohol, they drink a lot, or they start taking antidepressant medications, and they get very depressed about it. But that, in fact, leads to the 5th stage, because once they're depressed, and they're taking all these antidepressants and everything, the resistance breaks down, and then they're ready for the 5th stage, acceptance. And they're just sitting there, and they're like, "Fuck it, that's all I can do. All I can do is sit there and, you know, use Facebook." And you start seeing advertisements for antidepressants or alcohol scrolling by on screen. And eventually, the silver lining in all this is that if the NSA is watching everything you do online, then the next time your hard drive crashes, they can give you your cat pictures back. Thank you very much. Yeah! It's done, Geddes.